Hello, everyone. We're going to be going through the 2024 R3 release notes for the upcoming quarterly update. And just as a reminder for anyone who hasn't been part of one of these updates yet, it's taking place this Friday, so that'll be August the 9th. And it starts at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. So just as a friendly reminder, hopefully you guys aren't working too late on a Friday night, but if you are, make sure that you are completely out of the system and have all your work saved before 9:30 Central Time, or else the update is going to start and it will kick you out of the system. But it should be pretty quick. Usually they take anywhere from, I think, 2 to 4 hours. And so come Saturday morning, you guys will be good to start using the system again. If you guys want to. Otherwise, most of you guys will see the new updates the following Monday. So with that, we can go ahead and jump right in. And let's see. Alrighty, so first thing, here are some of the highlights of the release notes that we'll be talking about today. So we have the enhanced email delivery service, a new usage insights tool, the ability to unapply credits and void payments more quickly and easily, the ability to edit discount amounts in AR, a few improvements to the bank reconciliation process. There are 3 new reports and a few other updates to Sage Fixed Assets Management. In GL, there's now fiscal year rollover for printed document sequences. There are some new enhancements with EMRConnect. And then in OE and purchasing, it is easier to trace original transaction documents. So that's a nice feature too that we'll go over. Sage Intelligent Time, which has been mentioned in a previous release. I think it was the R2 release from this year, but we'll go over a few of the notes from that. And then there's a new time approvals experience, and then 2 new early adopter programs for automated transaction matching and automated receipt submission. All right, so first off, starting out in company and administration is the enhanced email delivery service. And so this is going to boost your email security and give you better delivery insights. And so the enhanced email delivery service uses DKIM, which is the industry leading standard for email security. And DKIM ensures emails are delivered to intended recipients quickly and reliably. The enhanced email log provides you with detailed visibility into the delivery status of your emails by recipient. And so once you authenticate your domain, you can send emails from any main domains and any associated subdomains. So for example, if you authenticate domain.com, you'll be able to send emails from subdomains like billing.domain.com or invoice.domain.com. Next thing, so usage insights. This is a new tool designed to empower you with real-time data and actionable insights to optimize your company's operations. And basically, this just provides pre-built metric dashboards to facilitate operational decision-making about your accounting processes. And so there are 4 key areas. The first one's the overview tab, and that's where you can track active customer and vendor growth. You can monitor Intacct subscription module activations and user activity, so for stuff like monitoring logins, and you can also view the number of locations associated with your entities. On the Customers tab, you'll be able to analyze customer growth trends and visualize customer locations on a map for better geographical understanding. The Vendors tab is pretty similar, just on the vendor side, so you can analyze vendor growth, visualize vendor locations on a map, and track AP bills over time. And then the API usage tab, so this was formerly just located under company and then I think administration, and it was just on there on that menu. And so they moved it to a tab within usage insights. And this is going to include your API transactions originating from web services and AJAX calls for the current month and 3 previous months. And so this screenshot that I included, I apologize, it doesn't really have any data in it. This is from our preview demo company, but I just wanted you guys to kind of see this is what the Usage Insights Overview tab is going to look like. And then obviously, in your system, it'll have your actual active customers, active vendors, and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty neat. They're pre-built and they're pretty easy to access. All you have to do is go to Company and then the Admin tab and then Usage Metrics and then Usage Insights. And this is all controlled by user permissions. So if you don't want certain employees to be able to see this stuff, that is totally okay. You can limit that in their permissions. But one other thing, you do have to be a business user with admin privileges to be able to access this. And last thing in company and administration, so there's a streamlined user information page. So the user information page has been consolidated onto a single page to improve clarity and ease of use. So if you're configured for user-based permissions, you will see the new Sage Intacct Financials Permissions section, where you can assign a user type and admin privileges to the user. And then if you're configured for role-based permissions, you'll see the roles tab or the roles table at the bottom there, where you can assign one or more roles to the user. So no more having to switch back and forth between different tabs or accidentally setting up a user and forgetting to give them a role. It'll all be right in front of you and be a little quicker and easier to visualize all that stuff. So that's a cool little update. Switching over to accounts payable. So restricted users can now void top-level payments. So any entity restricted users who have top level access can now void transactions that they create at the top level, provided they have the appropriate permissions to do so. So basically users with entity restrictions can now run the check register report without having to provide a location filter. And so as a result, top level transactions with line items that are within the user's restrictions are included in the check register report and are available to be voided. So I know we've had a couple of clients that have kind of run into this issue. So yeah, now you will, those entity restricted users will be able to void those top level payments, which is very nice. All right, next thing, you're able to unapply credits more easily. So improve your workflow efficiency by unapplying credits from posted payments when the credits are applied without an associated payment. You can apply credits of all types, including the following: advances, debit memo adjustments, so vendor credits, negative bills, and negative line items applied from one bill to another bill. So as you can see in the screenshot here, there's a little unapply link box that will have a pop-up window. So to unapply credits quickly, credit entries, which previously did not appear in posted payments, now show as a separate line item with an amount of 0. And like I was just saying, an unapply link appears next to those credit entries. And so selecting that unapply link opens the void payment date pop-up, where you provide the date when you are removing the credit, and you also will have the option to reverse the bill whenever that is applicable. So then to review credits applied to a payment, the posted payment detail page now includes a new credits applied tab that shows information about all the credits included in a payment. And you can actually click on the credit number itself to drill down into that. And so just to add some more details, so users with posted payments, void permissions, can unapply credits. If payments were made against a bill either before or after you applied a credit, you can still unapply the credit as long as you did not apply the payments simultaneously. Credits that you apply simultaneously for the same vendor and payment date are grouped in a single entry in posted payments, and you can view the details of all the credits in the Credits Applied tab. And so when you select unapply for a payment entry, all credits included in that entry are unapplied. And to unapply credits that were applied along with a payment, you can void the payment directly from posted payments. To reverse an applied credit, you must first unapply the credit on posted payments, then you can reverse it in AP adjustments. And last thing, credit-only payments do not trigger automatic payment notifications, and the email payment notice option is not available. You need to provide a vendor with information about the credit amounts you applied. Select print copy on posted payments to generate a PDF. And so I won't go through all these, but with that Unapply credits and posted payments feature, there are a few changes to the existing behavior. So for example, old behavior, previously you couldn't view these kind of transactions. And so new behavior, credits that you apply without an associated payment now appear in posted payments as zero amount transactions and include an Unapply option. And then, yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but you guys are welcome to kind of skim through these just to see the new behaviors versus the old behaviors. This is kind of a small change, but I think it will add a lot of convenience for you guys. Alrighty, sticking in accounts payable. So now you can void payments more quickly. So you can save time by voiding posted payments directly from the posted payments page. So previously, the method you would use to void a payment depended on the payment method. So whether you were paying by check, bank, or credit card, you would have to run the check, bank, or credit card register report, or you'd have to go into manual payments. And so now the void link is conveniently available on the posted payments page, and you do not need cash management permissions to void these payments. So the void link for a payment is available when you're viewing the list from the entity where you created the payment. And the void link does not appear for transactions that were previously voided. And so similar to the Unapply payment, the Unapply link from the previous slide, you can reverse the bills where allowed at the same time that you void that associated payment. And you can always still go back into the check register or bank register report if you would prefer to do that way to void transactions. But yeah, that's a pretty neat little feature. So now you don't have to navigate to a bunch of different screens or anything. So as you can see in this screenshot here, there's a little void link from your posted payments. And so you can just click that without having to run a report, filter it, find the exact check number, all that stuff. Alrighty, switching.
Just to interrupt, don't have a question on that, but we did get a couple of feedback comments that people seem very excited about the fact that you can void those payments and see those applied credits and unapply those. So that they got some good feedback. So just wanted to jump in there and say people are excited about that. So good stuff.
Nice, awesome, glad to hear it. Alrighty, so then for accounts receivable, so you can now edit discount amounts. And so AR can now be configured for custom discounts, which allows you to edit the discount at the time you receive payment. So previously, when customer remittance didn't match the terms, you would have to create a debit or credit memo adjustment to compensate for the discrepancy. And so now you can dynamically adjust the discount as you receive the payment, allowing you to more easily handle situations such as remittance, including a rounding error, customer missing the grace period, customer took a smaller or larger discount than terms allow, or multiple payments sent for a single invoice, meaning there's no single full payment against which to apply the term discount. So just to give you guys kind of an easy example for this, so say your customer submits a payment for the invoice total minus a 1% discount, but your customer sends the payment after the grace period has ended. So, you determine that it's not really worth your time to pursue that remaining 1% balance. And so when you receive the payment, you can apply a custom discount to compensate for the 1% loss, and that invoice will be recorded as paid in full. So custom discounts are available when you record payments using Receive Payments New. And so to apply a custom discount, you must record a payment at the same time, and it can be a partial payment. You can apply custom discount each time you receive payment against an invoice, which means you can accommodate for multiple discounts on an invoice that the customer pays over several payments. And then you can see the total amount of discounts previously applied to an invoice in the applied discount field. And so with that, there are some changes to Receive Payments New. And so to support those custom discounts, these are the new changes. So number one, which as you can see in the screenshot included here. So number one is applied discount. So when custom discounts are turned on, this column shows the total discounts previously applied to this invoice. And this also appears in the invoice detail section that shows the term. Number two is term discount, which was formerly named discount available. And this column shows the discount available for each invoice based on the terms selected on the invoice or carried over from the customer record. So the calculation is based on the payment date you select. Third, so apply term discount, which was formerly named apply discount. So this checkbox functions differently depending on whether custom discounts are enabled or not. So without custom discounts, Intacct deducts the available term discount from the payment amount, provided that the payment amount is sufficient to cover the balance. And with custom discounts, Sage Intacct copies the term discount into discount to apply. And so that brings us to number four, the discount to apply field. So when custom discounts are turned on, this column provides an editable field where you can enter a custom discount. So not major changes, just a little bit of terminology changes and a couple updates to allow you guys to make full use of those custom discounts if you're configured for that. And one more thing on this, so to support custom discounts, there is a new field on the AR payments import template, along with some additional validation that affects all users. And so as a best practice, we would recommend reviewing changes to the CSV import validation, even if you do not intend to use custom discounts, as the more stringent validation can affect term discount users. So for example, in the past, if you imported payment for a multiple line invoice and included different discount date values for each line, Intacct used the first date you provided and discarded the rest. And so now this scenario would generate an error. So some of the new validations for the CSV imports, you can apply either a term discount or a custom discount to an invoice, but not both. So transactions that include both a discount date and discount to apply will generate an error. Discounts are applied at the header level rather than the line level. Whether you are providing a discount date or a discount to apply, all lines for the same transaction must contain the same discount value. And then accounts receivable must be configured for custom discounts before you import a payment that includes a discount to apply value. Otherwise, you would just get an error message when you try to import that. Alrighty, moving on to cash management. So the bank reconciliation page now defaults to show all unmatched transactions. So when you open the reconcile bank account page or the reconcile credit card account page, the transaction type filter automatically defaults to all, revealing all of your unmatched transactions for easy viewing and management. This is one of those things that I'm actually extremely excited about because I get moderately annoyed when I go in there and I'm looking through right when I start a bank rec, and it's not showing me all my transactions. So it's nice that this will now default to show you all of your unmatched transactions. And then so Bank Transaction Assistant file import enhancements. This is another big one. This now supports BAI2 and CMAT.053 file types, and the process for uploading files is more streamlined. So I know just about every single bank in the country should be able to produce a BAI2 file. So those can now be imported directly into Intacct, which will be very nice. Still in cash.
Sorry, Matt, just to add a comment to that, we've tried to reach out to some clients, some of you that had specifically asked us previously if Intacct supported the BAI2 file imports. In some cases, if for whatever reason you're not able to use the bank feeds and it's not connecting to the bank or your bank's not available, or if you had a login that required a token, so there were a variety of reasons that we've had clients that haven't been able to use bank feeds. So if you've not been able to, and you were using the traditional bank import file to import those cleared checks or cleared transactions, you know that you had to get that file, and typically we had to kind of manipulate that to get it into the required import format. So this fact that we can support multiple file types, there's other file types as well, but the BAI2 file should be a file that you can get directly from your bank. So if by chance you're not currently using bank feeds, because it wouldn't connect, not just because you haven't turned it on, but because it's not connecting and you're importing those files, check with your bank, see if you can download a BAI2 file. You may just see that as an option when you download the files. And if you can, reach out to us and let us show you how to set this up so that you can import that, because that then is a file that doesn't have to be manipulated into a specific format or anything like that. It's just a straight import from that file. So reach out to us and let us know. Like I said, we've tried to reach out to a few clients that we knew specifically had asked us for that, but we certainly could have missed someone or may not have been aware if that was an option that you had. So reach out to us and let us know, because we'd certainly love to help you get those bank reconciliations more automated, whether that's through bank feeds. If you're not using that yet, hit us up. Let's get that working. But if that doesn't work for whatever reason, let's look at the imports of these and see what we can get working for you. So, okay. All right. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for adding that. Alrighty. So sticking in cash management, so you can now restrict access to account reconciliation info by user restrictions. So top level users can now be restricted to viewing bank reconciliation information for an account based on their entity location restrictions. So for example, if a top level user is restricted to entity 101 and entity 102, they will not be able to view reconciliation info for any bank accounts that have a location of entity 103. So configure cash management to restrict a top level user from viewing the following information for an entity restricted bank account. This is going to include your reconciliation history report and reconciliation information such as your statement beginning balance. So you can now restrict that info down essentially the same way that you would restrict a user to an entity. And then also increased efficiency for journal entries created during reconciliation. So when creating journal entries directly from bank transactions during reconciliation, the posting date for the journal entry defaults to the date of the bank transaction. And then for any multi-currency clients, the exchange rate date also defaults to the bank transaction date for improved accuracy. Both of these previously defaulted to today's date. So that's actually pretty nice if you're going in doing a reconciliation, trying to make journal entries on the fly. You don't have to remember to change your date back to the original bank transaction date. If that's the date you're going to use, it'll automatically do that for you. Alrighty, jumping into fixed assets management. So there are, like I said, in the kind of highlights overview slide at the beginning, there are 3 new reports for fixed assets management. The first one's going to be net book value, and that displays the total net book value of assets in each asset classification after accounting for accumulated depreciation and salvage value, if salvage value is considered for the selected book. And this also shows the sum total net book value of all your assets. I apologize, this screenshot is a little bit blurry, but as you guys can see, this is going to be basically what the new net book value fixed asset report looks like. And then 2 more reports from fixed asset management. These are going to be assets by employee. So this displays a list of assets grouped by employee along with additional details about the assets, and then assets by location. Displays a list of assets grouped by location along with additional details about the assets as well. And you can see these 2 screenshots here. So the first one's obviously grouped by employee and the second one by location. So those are the other 2 new reports in fixed assets management. So along with the new reports, there are also some user interface updates. So there's links added to fields. So on the assets list and view assets page, the source field is now a link, and selecting that value opens the associated AP bill in a pop-up. On the post-depreciation and view depreciation schedule pages, the GL batch IDs are now links, and so selecting one of those opens the associated journal entries in a pop-up. There are also fields added to the depreciation rules sections. So they've added the journal posting rule ID field to the depreciation rules section on the view asset and view classification pages. This change means you no longer need to go to configuration to find this information. Depreciable cost updates. So they removed the depreciable cost field and replaced it with asset cost, salvage value, and use salvage value fields. This change was made because the depreciable cost calculation can vary for each schedule depending on whether the salvage value is used. And then custom field support for AP and purchasing transactions. So custom field values on AP bills are now copied over to assets created from those bills, provided the ID and data type of the custom fields on the AP bill detail and asset match. So previously, custom field values were not copied to the asset. And then just some permissions updates. So employee user type permissions have been updated. And so now only business users can perform the following actions: create depreciation rules, edit assets, place an asset in service, place an asset back in review, post depreciation, dispose of an asset, place an asset back in service. Alrighty, so general ledger. Fiscal year rollover for general ledger document sequences. So these eliminate the need to create new sequences at the beginning of each fiscal year. And so Intacct will automatically update the fiscal year in the sequence so that it rolls over to the next year. And this feature is now available for GL journals. If your company has a legal requirement to number transactions using a sequence that includes the fiscal year, you can now accomplish this with document number sequences. And so fiscal year rollover is available only for use with contracts, fixed assets management, and general ledger at this time. And then one thing to note, once this has been enabled, it cannot be disabled. So make sure if you guys want to do this, you really are positive on that because it cannot be turned off. Another thing in general ledger, so you can quickly delete unneeded reporting periods. So on the reporting period list, they replaced the individual delete links with checkboxes and added a delete button at the top of the list, so you can save time by selecting multiple reporting periods and deleting all of them at once. This is extremely convenient, at least on our end, because there have been times, when you're trying to delete, even if it's just 5 or 10, having to click that individual delete button. So now you can just go in and check the box and delete a big chunk of them at a time. And you can't delete reporting periods if transactions have been posted for the period or if budget data exists for the period. So you don't have to worry about, a reporting period getting accidentally deleted that's actively being used. And so you'll pretty much only be able to delete the ones that have never been used and there's no data for those. So that's pretty convenient. And one more thing, so easy access to Sage Intacct Planning. For anyone who doesn't know, Sage Intacct Planning is an add-on application that offers a collaborative environment for preparing and managing budgets. And so you can now access the Sage Intacct Planning login page directly from the budget planning page. So as you can see in this screenshot, there's a little link to open Sage Intacct Planning. So that's pretty convenient as well. Moving on to healthcare. So I know we have quite a few clients in the healthcare industry that use EMRConnect. And so EMRConnect works with most delimited flat files that are exported from EMR systems. And you can set up field mappings for as many formats as you need. And so some of the new enhancements, you can set up multiple email addresses to receive email notifications from Intacct about whether batches were successful. You can choose whether to automatically summarize GL entries. Entries that include single-digit dates can now be processed, and email notifications now warn you if the general ledger is unbalanced. So exciting things coming with EMRConnect. Now to order entry. So trace original transaction documents. You can easily track which transactions started a workflow to ensure greater inventory reconciliation accuracy. Being able to trace original documents in your sales order workflow ensures that you can identify the original transaction in the workflow, refer back to the previous document in the workflow, generate more informative sales transaction reports, and more easily identify and report on reconciliation issues and take corrective action. So how this works, you'll just go to order entry, all transactions, and then select a transaction type. So for example, sales invoice. And then in the OE transactions window, locate a transaction and select view. In the entries table, select a line item row and then select show details. So if this is the original transaction in the workflow, the originating document ID field is blank. If this is the second transaction in the workflow, the originating document ID displays the initial transaction ID, and the same ID displays in the source document ID field. And then if this is a document in the workflow with more than 2 conversions, the originating document ID displays the initial transaction ID, which is the source ID document displays the last conversion document ID. Alrighty. And then also in order entry, so include line conversion type and recurring templates. So in the 2024 R2 release, Intacct added functionality to help you monitor billing against standing sales orders. So now going one step further, the sales order workflow now allows you to easily keep track of the remaining balance in recurring scheduled sales order transactions. So if your order entry application is configured to allow conversion by price, you can now view the default conversion type in your recurring transaction templates. And so this is going to increase the increased flexibility helps you keep track of remaining contracted quantity or price on recurring OE transactions. To view conversion defaults in recurring sales transactions, you'll complete the following tasks to enable line item conversion and set up recurring transactions. So you're just going to have to configure OE to convert transactions by price and to allow override of an item's default conversion type. And then you can just create a recurring template. And it is as easy as that. Moving on to purchasing. So this is an early adopter, or it's still in the early adopter stages, but automated transaction matching is now available for early adopters. So you can streamline your purchasing workflow by letting Sage Intacct create draft transactions from incoming vendor invoices and match them to existing purchasing transactions. So you define how incoming purchasing documents map to existing transactions in a one-time setup, and then Intacct can match incoming vendor invoices using the following flow. So first thing, you either email or upload vendor invoice documents for automated processing. Second step, Intacct uses AI to detect the vendor and match the vendor invoice to a purchasing transaction. The system then creates a draft vendor invoice for you with the source document attached, and then you can review the draft transaction, and any corrections you make are fed back to the AI engine where it updates the machine learning model to improve future matches. And as you review drafts, you have the option to change the match to a different purchase transaction or change the draft transactions to an AP bill. So this is essentially AP automation, but for purchasing. And so if you're not part of the early adopter program, no worries at all. I'm not sure exactly when this is going to be released to the general public, but if you guys are interested in trying to sign up for the early adopter program, feel free to reach out. But just keep in mind that this is on the horizon, and based on how AP automation works in our experience, we're very excited that it is going to be available for purchasing. So just a little more detail on automated transaction matching, really just how it works. So automated transactions appear in a new automated transactions list, which is available in the accounts payable menu. You can change the transaction match for a draft transaction at any time before you post it. For transactions that do not belong in the purchasing workflow, such as rent or utility bills, you can select change to AP bill to move the transaction to accounts payable. And if you want Intacct to create all future transactions for a vendor as AP bills, you can set change to AP bill as a preference. Intacct automatically detects files that were previously uploaded and flags them as duplicates, bringing them to your attention. So again, very similar to how the AP automation module works. And if anybody is already signed up for the early adopter program and is actively using automated transaction matching, these are just a few of the enhancements. So you can now see all automated transactions in one place. And so that means you'll be able to see all the automated transactions for accounts payable and purchasing in one list. So bills that were created with AP automation will appear in both the bills list and the automated transactions list. And so that's what this first screenshot in the top left corner, I guess, is where it shows that transaction type either coming from an AP bill or a purchase requisition. So review the matched PO document. You can now review the matched document for automated purchasing transactions. This is useful when you need to process a vendor invoice but do not have a PO to match it to. So you can select remove to unlink the matched document. And then support for multiple targets from a single transaction definition. You can now map multiple target transaction definitions to a single source definition in your purchasing configurations. So this is useful when the source transaction could be matched to more than one target transaction type. So for example, a purchase order could match to a vendor invoice or a receiver document. And then more options for partial conversion handling. So automated transaction matching now supports all settings for partial conversion handling, including close original and create back order. Moving into time and expenses. So you can automatically generate time entry descriptions with AI Assistant, which is in its beta stage, Sage Intelligent Time. And so with this, there are improved time entry descriptions. So before, activity cards collected from the Time Assistant showed generic, quote, computer activity and, quote, other Windows titles. Now the AI Assistant generates more specific titles to better summarize your work and the windows you had open. Automated time entry descriptions. So time entry descriptions are visible to approvers and help them better understand your timesheet. And so now you can generate these descriptions automatically. And this is only available on time entries that were created from activity cards. So new activity cards moving forward have the option to generate time entry descriptions automatically. If you manually enter or modify a description, then the option to generate automatically is not available. And descriptions that are generated automatically display a badge that says powered by AI. And so how it works, you just drag and drop an activity card to your timesheet, and then next to the description field, select draft with AI Assistant beta, and a description of the time entry is automatically generated. And so that brings us to a new time approvals experience with Sage Intelligent Time. Approvers can now choose between two pages, approved timesheets or approved time entries. And so this top screenshot is approved timesheets, and the approved timesheets page is best suited for managers that need to review their employees' timesheets. So each row in the table is a timesheet. Users can filter and sort by employee or any other details, and users can approve or decline timesheets in bulk or open a timesheet to approve or decline specific entries. The bottom screenshot is going to be the approved time entries list view. And so the approved time entries page is best suited for project managers that need to review all time entries tagged to a certain customer, project, or task dimension. So each row in this table is going to be a time entry, and users can filter and sort by customer, project, task, or other details. And users can approve or decline time entries in bulk across different employees. And one last thing, I believe, no, there's two more things. But next thing with time and expense is being able to recall timesheets with Sage Intelligent Time. So you can recall timesheets to correct mistakes quickly without needing to involve your manager or wait for the timesheet to be declined first. So you simply recall your timesheet from the submitted status, make any necessary corrections, and then resubmit it for approval. Only timesheets in submitted can be recalled. So recall is only available on the My Timesheets page. And then when a timesheet is recalled, it returns to the draft status and it is removed from the approvers list. So how this works, you will navigate to time and expenses, all, and then My Timesheets, or you can go through projects and then all, and then My Timesheets. And then you'll find your timesheet that's in a submitted state. And then you'll click the three little dots and then click the recall button. And this is the last thing with time and expenses. So streamline expense reporting with automated receipt submission. This is another thing that's in the early adopter program. So there's a new automated workflow for submitting your employee expenses, and you can save time and ensure accuracy by emailing your employee expense receipts from any device directly to Sage Intacct. So employees can now email their travel or other receipts and use artificial intelligence to assist in coding them. And then machine learning is going to remember the changes for future receipts, making the whole employee expense report process even easier. And so how this works, you will email receipts to an Intacct email, then AI technology will populate the receipts with data. Then the employee can go in and update the receipts with more details or additional coding or anything they need to add. And then whenever the employee creates their expense report, they can easily pull in all those receipts. And again, I apologize that this screenshot is a little bit blurry, but this is just kind of an example view of this beta list view of your electronic receipts that have been submitted. And as you can see, they're all in a draft state. So again, this is part of the early adopter program. If anybody's interested in applying for that, feel free to reach out to us, and we can look into that for you guys. But this is another one of those things that we don't have an exact release date for the general public, but it should be coming here soon since it's already in the early adopter phase. And last but not least, so user experience, there are a few updated user interface labels. Again, I won't go through every single one of these, but as you guys can see, they're in the accounts receivable, company, contracts, and order entry product areas. And then there's an old UI and a new UI. So for example, in accounts receivable, as we already mentioned, the discount available field is now going to be term discount. And then these few others, just a couple in company and then some in contracts and order entry. So just those few little things to be aware of. If you guys log in next Monday and you're used to seeing one field and it's updated, could possibly be because of these updated UI labels. Alrighty, thank you everyone for attending this webinar. We've got some exciting new updates coming out. Like I said, this R3 release update will take place this Friday, Friday evening. So most of these updates you guys will see on next Monday. If anybody needs any more information or has any questions, feel free to reach out to anyone on our team. You can always reach out to the Intacct support email address listed here or directly to me. That's my email and direct line listed there. Upcoming events, we have an in-person lunch and learn featuring Cloud at Work at Papacito's Cantina. That's going to be August 22nd. And then our next webinar will be on Sage Intacct bank reconciliations, making the most of automation. And that is going to be September 10th. Anyone on our team, you can always reach out to the Intacct support email address listed here or directly to me. That's my email and direct line listed there. Upcoming events, we have an in-person lunch and learn featuring Cloud at Work at Papacito's Cantina. That's going to be August 22nd. And then our next webinar will be on Sage Intacct bank reconciliations, making the most of automation. And that is going to be September 10th.